Hi, firstly, thank you so much for having me on this. My name is Gauri Savadi. I am a mother, I'm a wife, of course, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, and that takes precedence over anything else that I do. Professionally, I'm an early childhood educator. After 18 years of being in the industry, I finally decided to quit last year. So currently, I'm running my own social enterprise. It's a startup, and with this enterprise under the brand name Trecor, we're trying to achieve much more, which I'll tell you soon about as well. I'm a sergeant with the Singapore Police Force, currently deployed at Airport Police Division. It started about 10 years ago, and it mainly was because I wanted to give back to the society in any potential manner I could. And police being a policewoman came about mainly, I think as a child, I really wanted to be in the armed forces and saw this as an opportunity and took it on, did not succeed the first time, tried again, and finally I did, and I'm very thankful for the journey that I have been through. A lot of training, a lot of physical resilience that is required, and I'm glad that it's been great for the last 10 years. There were definitely a few challenges. Mainly is your time, because I was working full time at that moment, and being a leader in my capacity earlier was tricky to balance. Plus, my kids were quite young. Support from my family is really crucial. Sometimes I want to tell women it's not necessary that you tell your spouse or your family everything. I think you got to keep some things under wraps and just do it till you succeed and then surprise them. That worked for me, to be frank. And that's what I really wanted to relay as well, that you got to do what you got to do on your own and make it possible. So challenges also were also intermingling with the local crowd, because I am mostly with a lot of men. There are not women, as many women in the industry of the police force as the boys that you see, because there are a lot of NS boys that join you. So that was a bit of a challenge, because getting to know them, getting to lower your expectations, physical challenges as well, standing on your feet for 10 hours straight or doing night shifts is not easy. But I guess once you make up your mind, you can do it. Yeah. I wouldn't say it is difficult. There definitely are challenges. I think you got to get over the inhibitions of being alone with a man in a single room, or being with NS boys who are just 20 and asking you questions on why you want to do this at your age. I'm 40 now, 43 to this year. But I guess once you make up your mind, it's great, because you share stories. You're like a mentor to them. You have, great talks with them when you're on your shifts and your duties. So it's quite interesting. The challenge of race, yes, it could be also, because I'm one of the very rare Indian women and one of those expat women who came into Singapore and decided to get into this. So definitely there was a bit of an eyebrow raise on asking, why you? I mean, you live in a condo, or you drive a car, or how we don't expect, you running or doing IPPTs with the boys and doing your push-ups and doing your pull-ups and all that. It was a personal thing, I think. It just something I really wanted to do, and I am right currently also with the national team for dragon boating, which is, again, I was rowing with the men today, almost 15 men with me all by myself. You just click, and you just kind of build a rapport with them when you're talking, and you just let go of who you really are and be in the moment. Once you're in that moment, I think just it takes over. The moment takes over, and you're fine, and you're comfortable in your skin. That's about it. Yeah. There are two ways of looking at it, to be frank. I think if you are in a place like India as well, there are possibilities, perhaps different kind of possibilities. I know of females who are in the army back at home as well, and they're flourishing, they're doing great. In Singapore, yes, things get a little bit easier in the sense of approach, because I think it's quite straightforward. If you want to go anywhere, do anything, it's a click of a button, and it's all then depends on your caliber, on your uh, how much you really want to push yourself. So definitely, being a small country, it's easier. And I think once being in Singapore, you want to give back. So that is what drove me to do what I do today. Is This is home now. I call India motherland. I call Singapore my home. You have to embrace what you have around you, and it just gets easier once you say you want to do it. That is correct. So I'm doing as a voluntary basis, but it requires you to put in many hours in a week. So I could be at the station up to 3 or 4 times in a week. And there's a lot of patience required from you. So you could be sitting in a station just waiting for your superiors to tell you what next is going to happen. And 5 hours has just passed. So it's not on a payroll basis, but it's on a volunteer. However, as close to being a regular as well. I'm getting a lot of pleasure out of it. I'm learning a lot. There's a lot of support. And I see that I have some caliber that I can really push myself further. So don't be surprised if I tell you that next year I'm actually a regular police officer. Yeah, I think that's what it is all about. Everybody has a lot of potential. So it's not about just being in the police services. There's so much to do in the community, so much to connect with. So if you are into helping old people, I mean, there's so much you can do with that as well. Animal care, there's again possibilities in those venues, and they're willing to take you with open arms. So don't let any possibilities just pass by. But for the youngsters, I would really urge the young children, because for boys, NS is a straight no questions asked, right? I mean, if you're a PR or a Singaporean, you got to do NS, and that gives the boys an edge on certain skills that they pick up. It's the females, the girls that sort of don't know where to go or are not sure. For them, the children who are at the age of 18 onwards, I would recommend this service for them for sure. To just go try out for the volunteer services. You get trained. They push you in your physical aspect. They push you in your mental grit, with your law knowledge as well of Singapore. So I think that I would really urge the youngsters to go for it. And for females, this could be a great possibility for sure. So I've been hiking and trekking for many years. I have conquered almost, I think, 22 peaks around Singapore, around this, in India, as far as Africa as well, in Russia as well. The idea was to bring out getting out of your comfort zone. So what happens with females of our age or our generation is that we get too comfortable and we don't want to push ourselves. We're like, it's okay, those little parties, and we're happy. I mean, happiness is what you want at the end of it, till you realize there's so much more to do and so much more to explore. So Tregor came about as a social enterprise for all ages, all genders, with the idea of challenging them to take some walks and hikes. Of course, before pre-COVID period, we did take some trips, service trips to India, to Cambodia, and within Singapore. With the COVID, it was a turnaround. And people were not very sure about what's the future going to be like. They were stuck in their homes. And that's when we launched something called Flab to Flat, fitting exercises. And it took on as fire, actually. It was amazing to see people joining from Europe, from Dubai, from India. And this is just a set of 5 exercises, and it kept you going. When on a group chat, you could see that people are putting up saying, I've done my set today, how about you? And it was sort of an encouragement for people around the world. It took about 3 months for it to conclude, and that kind of gave them a momentum and a hope to carry on in the situation that they were in. So Tregor is a social enterprise. I keep emphasizing on this, the two words, social enterprise. That means that whatever earnings come in, a percentage of that is directed towards a cause. And in the past 1 year, we have not only helped the people who have actually joined us for their walks and hikes. Personally, you see them shift their mindset, getting out into the hot weather, sweating away, and telling them, it's all right, I can walk, pushing themselves to walk from 5 kilometers to 10 kilometers to 20 kilometers. It's amazing to see that transformation. And whatever they contribute, it's little amount, which is percentage of that has gone to Orangutan Foundation, the Wildlife SOS in India, Acres in Singapore. So various organizations which support children, animals, women, even NParks in Singapore, which is doing a tree plantation drive. So we direct the funds to them. So that is the main idea for Tagore that it is a social enterprise. It is not for profit. I think that is what I want to put across first. There are three aspects to Tagore. The three elements are concept, adventure, and service. At the moment, it looks like adventure is the one that is taking most of the highlight. So I'll talk a little more on that. Adventure is where we go into the zones which we have never been to. So surprisingly, for example, my friend Ritu also has been in Singapore for 29 years, never has actually climbed Benjamin Sheares Bridge. And it was an eye-opener, whole highlight. I mean, after a walk, you're like, oh my gosh, I've crossed over this bridge for last 20 plus years, but I have never thought of even climbing it. I mean, why would anybody think of that, right? So there's so much to do in Singapore. There's so much to explore. The idea is to, of course, go out of Singapore to do some more hikes and service-oriented trips. That's where service element comes in, where we will be associated with organizations outside Singapore. We will go there, give our physical time and physical funds to wherever there is a need. I associate myself with a lot of organizations around this region, and I would want people to go and touch their lives there as well. And concept is where we bring in experts. For example, next Thursday, there is a sound therapy expert who will be giving us a short, sort of an intro session at Gardens by the Bay. So it's a combination of concept and adventure where we are going to be walking, say 5 to 6 kilometers. So people who are not sort of used to it will do that. Plus, then we will be sitting at Gardens by the Bay, the Chinese garden area, which is beautiful, serene, it's gorgeous. And this lady comes in with her instruments and puts us to peace and the tranquility that we'll be enjoying. So it's a combination of affairs going on. I think the idea is just jump on it. And once the adventure, the nature bites you, you will see that you will keep coming. We did a camping last week. Ritu was a part of it as well, where so were other 5 ladies. And they've never done something like this in their life. And it was amazing to sleep under the stars, sleep in a tent, cooking out in the outdoors, waking up to a gorgeous sunrise, listening to the birds, listening to the crickets in the night. I think the whole combination of nature, it just revives you. And that's where you come back with more energy to give back to your family. And when your kids see you, or when even your spouse sees you doing all this, they get a different kind of a respect. They get energized through you. And these are things that you can't even describe in words. I mean, my family is a great example. My husband has never questioned me after seeing me flourish and seeing me doing plethora of things. He is a silent watcher, so he will just sort of nudge me from the back, but not essentially tell me fantastic or great going kind of a thing. But he's there and he knows that I will fly out a little bit and come back. We have a live WhatsApp group. I think that's the fastest way of connecting with people right now. There's an Instagram page and a Facebook page as well. So people can just jump on our WhatsApp group. And of course, it can get a little annoying because there's so many announcements going all the time. But you can just say, you know what, this is something that resonates with me. It could be a short walk. It could be a hike in the jungle. It could be exploring a new terrain. So we will talk about those once you have signed on to it. And we'll prepare you. So anybody is welcome. We do kids hikes as young as 4 years old as 80, 89-year-old people have also joined us. So it's a whole range of age. There's no stopping. All I need for you to say is, yes, you know what, I want to do this. And then you're just jumping on board. There's a little form that you need to fill up so that we can have your details as well. And then, yeah, the ship is off to the seas. So I quit my job in February without knowing what the world is going to be like, with the whole idea of traveling. I wanted to visit my son in the US and stay with him for a month before, and then leave my daughter for her university in Vancouver. So all that fell flat. And but somehow with Tagore picking up, I think it was a new lease of life. So COVID worked very positively for us, I would think, because this was a time where I could really do what I was passionate about and pushing it out and travel. I actually originally come from travel industry. So I used to work for Indian Airlines, I think about 26 years ago. So I picked up a diploma course in Singapore. That's something else I wanted to tell everybody about is that Skills Future that government is offering for mid-career changes. I think it's great. So there are so many courses that you can choose from. So I did a diploma course. I also did coaching as a course as well. I think being a leader, being a coach comes naturally, and I wanted to formalize it. So I did my NLP course as well. And then because I've been dragon boating for almost 10 years also, the national championships are in Hong Kong and the selection process was happening. I said, you know what, I'm not going to waste any time. And I jumped on it. I got selected, and now we are practicing on almost 4 to 5 times a week for that. So I have not let go of any opportunity. I think people who know me personally, I'll be doing everything. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why stop. And the other thing that was good was no travel means you can donate blood, because every time you travel, you certain malaria-oriented place, whatever. So you can't donate. So last 5 times, every 3 months, I've been donating blood as well, which I'm really proud about, because you want to donate and you can't, because if you visited India, you visited Malaysia, and then you've got to wait for another 3 months. And then again, you're traveling, obviously. So happy International Women's Day to everybody. I think it's really crucial to identify yourself, to not lose yourself in the whole jim jam of life. Life is going to go on no matter what. The sun will rise tomorrow, even if you don't want to wake up and don't want to make the breakfast. So don't worry too much about it. I really want to tell women and girls to find that niche, find that something that resonates with you. It could be anything. It could be writing. It could be poetry. It could be photography. It could be videography. It could be, I don't know, some kind of sports. Hold on to it and run with it. When you find that confidence, and that confidence that you find with that one element will lead you into many more things. And trust me, you are in Singapore. Of course, I don't want to say it's a safe place. It is definitely a safe country. So for women, there's so much to do. So don't stop yourself. No, don't let go of yourself behind that dress, that pretty dress. There's more than that pretty dress. This is a Lucknowi chicken curry. It was given to me by a friend who is originally from Lucknow. It's a very easy drape, so it's on a very simple chiffon. It's just a simple drape. It's a what do you call Lucknowi chicken curry sari.